Good morning, gentlemen. SBG Active Aussie here. It's about 9:40 a.m. Saturday morning, I think. Earlier on, I was listening to a stream by TNFS, the Narc Show, and that's another channel here in SEQ, Southeast Queensland, and he's a pretty down-to-earth, no bullshit sort of guy, sort of bloke. So I encourage you to check that channel out. So check out some of these smaller channels because they have some very good content and some very good ideas, I feel. And in the stream, he was talking about that 26-year-old man, Jordan Moore, who was allegedly, as the media says, set on fire by two women. A 31-year-old woman and a 35-year-old woman have been charged in regard to that incident, and they stole his car. This happened in Toowoomba last week at night time. And I'd also like to reiterate that, especially for Aussie guys and any younger Aussie men who might be listening, you have to be very careful these days, be very aware of your surroundings, and even in cities like Brisbane and Adelaide nowadays, you have to be very aware. And I think some men may have been lulled into a false sense of security, and they are not really aware of the risks. And if you are in any large Australian city now, you have to consider it the same as being in a large USA city, and probably the same in the USA or Europe, because there are many crazy people around now, especially with all the population growth. And we had over 500,000, 500,000 people came into Australia last year, which I think is way too high, even though I'm not anti-immigration, but I'd keep it to around about maybe 100, 120,000 a year. But over 500,000, that's just way too much. And it's just causing many problems in regard to infrastructure, crime, putting strain on the health system, education system. So I just feel this population growth here in Australia per capita, it's one of the highest in the world, and it's just not right. But just want to say to men, it's a really good idea to avoid going to bars, nightclubs, and I'm even careful now after about 7:30 or 8 p.m. at night, because unpredictable sort of things can happen. And especially if you're in a place like Brisbane, Cairns here in Queensland, where in summer it gets very hot, or you're up in Darwin in the Northern Territory, when you go out you have to even be more careful, because people just drink way too much. And there have been cases here in Brisbane, and not even recently, even 15, 16 years ago, where men have had glasses smashed in their face because they refused to buy women drinks. And because the government and the MSM has ingrained a type of entitlement mentality, a lot of these gals just feel they can do whatever they want with zero consequences. So you have to be on your guard. I remember there was an incident about 15 years ago at Red Hill here in Brisbane, and this one bloke had a very bad gash wound to his face, and he was left disfigured, and that's all because he refused to buy a woman a drink, and he was just minding his own business. So you have a combination of entitlement, plus when it's very hot people drink more, and you can be attacked by men or women, and you still have the white knights and simps out there, and this defending women's honour sort of nonsense, this mindset that still exists. So these types of people are out there and you have to be very wary. I make sure when I'm driving around at night now that I keep my doors locked, because carjacking is becoming quite a risk in some areas, and a lot of home invasion, and have the youth crime problem here in Brisbane and southeast Queensland, which an ALP member of parliament in Capalaba said recently was a beat up. So you have some politicians trying to deny that crime is a problem, but it really is a problem now. Anyway, I just wanted to throw a few ideas out there, and we really have to start being aware, being careful, because I think things are just going to get a lot worse. Anyway, guys, that's all for now, and I'll talk to you later.